But it's as a director that he's really made his mark, with some of the most memorable movies ever.
For decades, Rob Reiner has been seen as Hollywood royalty, a beloved filmmaker, outspoken in his beliefs and always ready with an opinion. He appeared confident and certain in public, a familiar face who never hesitated to speak his mind. Yet behind that well-known image, there was a quiet silence few people talked about. Over the years, fans noticed small moments that felt slightly off, pauses in interviews, carefully chosen words, expressions that suggested more was being held back. Nothing obvious, just enough to raise questions. Then his daughter finally spoke, not with anger or drama, but with calm honesty. And once her words were heard, many of those unanswered moments suddenly made sense, because once the truth was spoken out loud, it could not be ignored. Rob Reiner was born on March 6, 1947 in the Bronx, New York, into a Jewish family already deeply connected to entertainment. His father, Carl Reiner, was one of television's greatest comedic minds, while his mother, Estelle Reiner, was also an actress. Creativity filled the household. His sister Annie became a poet and playwright, and his brother Lucas pursued painting, acting, and directing. Rob spent his early childhood in New Rochelle, New York, before later moving west. He often joked that he had no middle name simply because neither of his parents had one. From a young age, he was surrounded by storytelling, humor, and performance, and it shaped the path he would follow. Reiner began his career early, appearing on the television show Manhunt at just 14 years old. He attended Beverly Hills High School and later studied at UCLA, where his interest in acting and writing grew stronger. At 19, he performed improv comedy with Larry Bishop and even served as a master of ceremonies for jazz singer Carmen McRae at a nightclub in San Francisco. During the early 1960s, he worked as an apprentice at the Bucks County Playhouse and appeared in small roles on television shows such as Batman, The Andy Griffith Show, Gomer Pyle, USMC, and The Beverly Hillbillies. He also acted in films directed by his father, including Where's Papa, gaining experience while learning the industry from the inside. In 1968, Reiner began writing for the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour alongside other rising talents like Steve Martin. His career changed dramatically in the early 1970s when he was cast as Michael "Meathead" Stivic on All in the Family. The show dominated television ratings for 5 consecutive seasons, and Reiner's portrayal of Archie Bunker's liberal son-in-law made him a household name. Though the nickname Meathead followed him for years, he embraced it with humor. By the 1980s, however, Reiner shifted his focus toward directing, determined to redefine himself beyond acting. As a director, Reiner delivered a remarkable run of films that showcased his versatility. He directed This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men, moving seamlessly between comedy, romance, drama, and thriller. Through Castle Rock Productions, he became a major force in Hollywood filmmaking. Despite his success behind the camera, Reiner never stepped fully away from acting, appearing in films such as Sleepless in Seattle, The First Wives Club, Primary Colors, and The Wolf of Wall Street. Even later in life, he remained active in storytelling, demonstrating a lasting passion for film and media. Reiner's personal life was just as layered as his career. In 1971, he married actress and director Penny Marshall and adopted her daughter Tracy, who later became an actress herself. Though the marriage ended in 1981, it marked the beginning of Reiner's life as a devoted family man. In the late 1980s, while directing When Harry Met Sally, he met photographer Michelle Singer. Their professional collaboration became deeply personal, and they married in 1989. Together, they had 3 children, Jake, Nick, and Romy. The family was closely tied to philanthropy, founding organizations such as I Am Your Child Foundation and Parents Action for Children, both focused on early childhood development and education. Through these efforts, Reiner blended his success in Hollywood with a strong sense of social responsibility. Faith and belief played a complicated role in Reiner's life. Though raised Jewish and having had a bar mitzvah, religion was never strict in his household. His father became an atheist after being deeply affected by the Holocaust. Rob himself identified as an atheist for many years, stating this openly in a 2012 appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher. At the same time, he expressed respect for Buddhist principles and moral teachings across faiths. In a 2025 interview, he described his beliefs as Jewish by heritage, but guided by ethics, forgiveness, and compassion rather than organized religion. His views surprised some and confused others, but reflected his effort to live by moral values rather than doctrine. Reiner's children each followed different paths. His eldest son, Jake, pursued filmmaking and journalism. His second son, Nick, struggled with addiction from a young age, entering rehabilitation multiple times, a painful reality the family faced for years. His youngest child, Romy, followed a creative path and maintained a close relationship with her parents. Despite growing up in a famous family, she stayed largely out of the spotlight, choosing privacy over publicity. That quiet nature would later define how the public came to hear her voice. Alongside his creative work, Rob Reiner became one of Hollywood's most outspoken political figures. A committed liberal, he used his platform to advocate for issues such as marriage equality, early childhood education, and democratic values. His criticism of conservative politicians, especially during the Trump era, was direct and uncompromising. He described Donald Trump as unfit for office and warned of threats to democracy, statements that drew intense backlash from critics who accused him of elitism and using celebrity influence to shape politics. Supporters, however, saw his activism as principled and informed, rooted in genuine belief rather than performance. Reiner's outspoken nature extended to religion, morality, and social responsibility, often placing him at the center of public debate. Some admired his honesty and refusal to stay silent, while others felt his views overshadowed his films. Yet even critics often acknowledged his talent and impact on cinema. His life became an example of how fame, politics, and personal belief can collide in the public eye. The most devastating chapter came in December 2025, when Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found dead in their Brentwood home. Both had suffered fatal injuries, and the discovery shocked the entertainment world. Their daughter, Romy, was the one who found her father after concern was raised by a missed appointment, and only later learned her mother was also gone. Emergency responders arrived quickly, and police launched an investigation that led to the arrest of their son, Nick. The tragedy sent waves of grief through Hollywood and beyond. Friends, collaborators, and political figures paid tribute to the couple's creativity, generosity, and lifelong commitment to social causes. In the aftermath, Romy Reiner broke her long silence, not through interviews or public appearances, but through a joint statement with her brother Jake. Their words were simple, raw, and deeply human. They described their parents not as public figures, but as their best friends. That moment marked the first time many people truly heard Romy's voice, and it resonated precisely because it was not sensational. It was honest, restrained, and born from grief. Rob Reiner's life was filled with brilliance, controversy, passion, and complexity. From his early days in the Bronx to becoming one of Hollywood's most respected filmmakers, he left an undeniable mark on film, television, and public discourse. His work entertained millions, his activism sparked debate, and his personal life revealed the challenges behind public success. In the end, his legacy is not just the movies he made or the causes he championed, but the deeply human story of a man who lived boldly, loved his family fiercely, and whose life, like so many others, was far more complicated than it ever appeared on screen.